Hi, in this tutorial we will talk about stress. In fact, stress at the workplace. Stress is inevitable at the workplace. You just can't avoid stress. Whether you like it or not, you will have to take up stress. And you will find stress in different forms and with coming through different sources. So in this module we will talk about stress through various sources. What are the stressors of what are the different stressors or the sources? How do we tackle it and how do we manage stress? What are the ways of avoiding stress or minimizing stress? That is what the entire process is going to be. So let's start with understanding stress. What is stress? The hardship, the strain, adversity, force, pressure, strong efforts with reference to an object or a person. So stress is synonymous with hardship. Whenever there is an examination and you put in lot of efforts and strong efforts, and the hardship that you go through during the course of the examination is a kind of a stress. Force is also a kind of stress. Somebody is exerting pressure, that also is stress, and the stress causes a strain to develop, or rather there is some kind of a deformation that happens, that also is stress. So it actually, if you look at it in a scientific manner, stress is a force that acts on the body to produce strain. Strain is a kind of a deformation. Moment the stress or the force is taken back or called back, or the force is withdrawn, the body doesn't come back to its original shape. It may come back, it may not come back. So that force which is withdrawn is actually stress. But here in cases in real life, it may so happen that the stress may set in permanently, thereby causing various damages to the body. So it can be physical damage, it can be a psychological damage, which has far-flung effects, ill effects on the body. And therefore, at any cost, every individual, be it at any position in the organization, must try to avoid. An MD of the company, a chairman of the company is under great pressure. How to increase my shareholdings? How to increase the value of my stocks? The general manager below him, the vice presidents below him are under tremendous pressure as to how to handle the board meeting. What is the feedback? How do I steer the board meeting? What will be the effect? How is it going to take shape? What will be the response of the other board of directors, managers down below? How much data is needed for the meeting? How much do I work and how can I manage my people? Is the production happening on time? Is the market share going up? Are my will my is my promotion due? So whatever he thinks actually leads to some kind of stress. The father of stress research is Hans Selye. So Hans Selye has done some good work in analyzing stress, understanding stress, and we will try to see some kind of a model which Hensile has said. Just we'll go through it. So nobody is immune to stress. No one is immune to stress. In short, no one is stress free. And stress in any organizational or at workplace is inevitable. You just can't avoid stress. So let's try to define stress. Stress affects the employee and the employer. Employee is anyway going to get disturbed because of stress. Stress may have an effect on the employee, and once the employee is affected, the employer is also affected in the sense the employees are not able to attend office, the employee is not able to deliver his or her best, or the employee is under so much stress and pressure and so much force is exerted on the employee that employee has no option but to quit the organization. So that kind of an effect the employee may have. That kind of an effect the stress can have on the employee, forcing the employee to separate from the organization, which is harmful to the employer also, which is not in good taste or good interest to the employer. So it stress affects the employee and the employer, and there are several ways by which this stress can creep in. It is the pressure which the people feel in life due to their reaction with situation. So when they encounter certain situations, some situations may be good, some situations may be bad, but whatever, whenever they are encountering certain situations, the pressure that they feel is due to stress. For example, if I am taking this module on stress, I am a bit stressed at the back of my mind that this module should go off well. I should be able to explain properly to my listeners, to my viewers about stress. They should appreciate and understand what is stress, how to manage stress, how to cope up with it. Anything that changes our physical state or mental state or emotional state or behavioral state, which while we encounter various stimuli in the environment, is can be related to stress. You can relate it to stress. So anything, if there is any change or anything that happens which brings about a change of in the physical state or any change which bring about some emotional change, or anything that brings about a behavioral change, or a change in the mental situation, or a psychological effect. It can have a psychological effect which we encounter through various stimuli. There could be various stimuli in the environment which can bring about physical, emotional, behavioral, mental effects on us. That is stress. For example, if I am running on a track, there is a race, so I am under stress. It is bringing about physical. There are all my physical forces and nerves are being put to test. They are put to the maximum utilization. I am sweating badly and I am sweating profusely, so it is causing a physical stress on me. So when I end the race, I am stressed out. As a result, I may even fall unconscious, and that's the reason where, after a marathon or after a stressful walk or a stressful run, you are immediately given some kind of glucose to recoup from the physical stress that you have undergone. Similarly, if a person or if an executive is under pressure to meet the deadlines of completing a project, he or she is going under emotional stress. So there is lot of emotional stress wherein she or she is forced to complete the project. Time is very less, work is work, pending is huge, and he or she is fighting against the deadlines, trying to meet the deadlines, working overnight, burning midnight oil, and she goes through a lot of emotional stress. So that is physical stress and emotional stress. Behavioral stress may be due to some kind of improper behavior by the boss or improper behavior by the colleagues, which in fact has led or influenced you and has led to some change in your behavior. So you become aggressive or you become irritable at times, so it is going to take a toll on you. So that is actually bringing a change in the behavioral state. Mentally or psychological also, you are disturbed, you are not able to think properly, you are not able to exercise control over your mind. You lose control at times, and your thoughts go haywire. You are not able to align your thoughts, and you would like to take a complete off from the existing state. So that is a mental. So it is actually a psychological effect that the stress is having in your. So there are various stimuli in the environment which may put in some kind of a physical stress, emotional, behavioral, or a mental stress. So after having said that, do you feel that stress is absolutely bad, or is there something, or is there some good stress also? Just as we say that there is bad cholesterol and good cholesterol, there is something called good stress and bad stress. Or rather, if you put it in a different form, there is a positive side of stress and a negative stress. So stress is a state or a condition resulting from the interaction of people and their jobs. Whenever there is an interaction of people, whenever people interact with their jobs or in their jobs, then it is characterized or it is featured by certain changes, or it brings about certain changes within people that influence them or force them to deviate from their normal functioning style. So, stress causes or brings about a deviation from the normal working style of people at the workplace, which is actually resulting from the interaction of people and their jobs. So, this deviation or a negative side of stress is actually called distress, and the positive side of stress is called eustress. eustress, eustress. So eustress is the stress experience that actually activates people, charges up people to achieve their goals so that they can take up challenges head on. So eustress is a good stress which is actually inspiring people, motivating people towards their goals. So it is pushing people towards their goals and inspiring them, not forcefully but by inspiration. So there is an urge or a desire to move towards the goal or inch towards the goal gradually and achieve it. So this is a good stress which everybody should have. In fact, even students or employees who are working in an organization should have this kind of a stress. And this stress must be there. So little amount of stress must be there. And that stress should be eustress and not distress, because distress compels you to deviate from the normal working conditions. In the sense, it will bring about a behavioral change. For example, if your boss has given you some kind of a deadline to meet to, or some kind of an assignment which needs to be completed before you leave for the day, you are constantly under pressure to complete it. Unknowingly, inadvertently, there must maybe some errors which have crept in your data, and your results go haywire. So you are already under stress as to how to complete it, and you have to go back home. You may miss out the last train or the last bus. So these kind of stress, so they deviate, they make your physical state, they make your mental state also disturbed, and you deviate from the normal behavior and the normal functioning style. This is distress. So people need some stress to survive. That stress is eustress. Eustress is good, and stress actually is a spice of life, and absence of stress is actually compared to death. So without any stress, it will be as good or as calm as death. So there has to be some vibrations, some disturbances. So stress is a kind of a disturbances, and those disturbances should be positive ones. Just as change is the variety of life or a spice of life, similarly, according to sense and style, stress is also a spice of life. It brings about certain kind of spice, a variety, a change in life, and absence of death means calmness, or absolutely nothing is happening. It is dead still.